I love these beautiful antique farmhouse botanical pieces I found on Pinterest. I figured we could pop in Dollar Tree and grab a couple things that we could dupe something ourselves. Maybe not exactly the same, but inspired just as much. I knew from comparing them inside the store that our wallpaper was going to fit in here perfectly, so I just removed the back and the glass very gingerly. This stuff is easy to break, so just be careful. And then I measured the wallpaper down to size to fit the piece of cardboard that was in the back of our frame. It wasn't writing. That sucker like dried out on me or something. And what's worse is I thought it was going to be there. I was completely shocked. Anyhow, I got the pen working and then traced both of our wallpaper pieces in the sections that I wanted to show in the frame. I then just cut them down to size and took the backing off of each piece of the wallpaper and stuck it to the cardboard. Normally I'll do like some extra Mod Podge or maybe even a little bit of glue because sometimes this wallpaper doesn't always stick, but people, let me tell you something, it sticks really, really good to cardboard. Just get yourself something to be able to scrape that wallpaper onto the cardboard to make sure the application is flawless. If you want to put the glass back in, go right ahead. I decided to leave mine completely out. It's absolutely a preference. It's not going to hurt one way or the other. I felt like mine would be just fine without the glass. I even think the frame would have probably looked really pretty if I would have painted it white and maybe did some little bit of distressing, but I love how that black kind of helped the design pop in the center. I love how elegant these turned out, and they were super easy to do. One thing I really haven't DIY'd a lot are bird houses, and these Pinterest pieces really inspired me just because of the rusticness of them. And I know that Dollar Tree has different styles of bird houses, so I picked up 2 of them, and people, have you seen these little gems? I grabbed 3 of these to create our stands for the bottom of the birdhouses. Since we're going to be crackling these, I'm going to have to put 2 layers of paint. And over glass, things can get a little sketchy when it comes to paint. So it's always good to make sure whatever paint you're using works with glass. And I know that chalk paint works really well, but also if you didn't know, multi-surface does also work well with glass. And if you check the back of the directions on the paint, most of the time they'll let you know what surfaces they work well with. For our undercoat for this project, since we're going to be crackling, I want to use this beautiful mermaid tail color by DIY. If anyone's ever interested, I keep a link down in my description box for Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. I usually get mine from her. I didn't show it in the store, but these beautiful pieces actually came in different designs. So I grabbed 2. The one that I have 2 of the same design, I'm going to take a little bit of tacky glue and a little bit of hot glue and just attach them. So this way my birdhouses have a little bit of a height difference. And people, in case you didn't know, it's always a good idea to use something other than hot glue when you're attaching glass to glass. Hot glue itself, it'll cure, but it's probably going to cure hard and pop back off over time. So adding some tacky glue, some E6000, it's just going to help ensure that your piece doesn't fall apart over time. When I was done that, I took the beautiful mermaid tail paint and a little sponge and just tappity tap 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 all over our pieces. And I like to use a sponge and tap over glass. I feel like it gives better coverage, and just because I'm me, I did the same thing over the birdhouses, but feel free to use a paintbrush if you want. I did take a tiny detail brush and go over all the little sections that giant sponge didn't smush on into. For our crackle medium, this is my favorite. I've used several different techniques. This is what I like to roll with. The directions on the back are pretty spot on, so if you ever struggle with that, just turn the bottle over and check them out. I used the tiny paintbrush and took the crackle medium and went around our pieces in certain sections. If you want more crackle, then absolutely go over your entire piece. I just wanted certain sections to not have any crackle, so this way we had fuller coverage with our Snow White Waverly chalk paint as we put our top layer on. You want to make sure your crackle medium is completely dry before you do this step. And I will tell you people that this stuff has an attitude, so you're not going to get the opportunity to paint over it back and forth. A good tip to get decent coverage is to make sure your paintbrush is saturated really well and your strokes are as even as you can get. Obviously on a piece like this, it has lumpies and bumpies. It doesn't matter so much, but almost instantly you can see here the crackle is taking effect. When I was happy with the paint coverage, I grabbed my tacky glue and my hot glue and attached the two birdhouses. Absolutely give yours as much coverage as you feel it might need. Your preference might be different. Take my idea and remix it and use it what works best for your home and your decor. I love these little rustic pieces that I found on Pinterest, but what really sold me was her little comment here that says, do you have a brown thumb? Because yes, my friend, I absolutely do. And if I was going to do this dupe as close as I possibly could, I picked up these cactuses that Dollar Tree sells. But for me, we're going to do more of an inspiration kind of piece, and we're going to grab these instead to stick down in the middle of our cans. I did decide to go with two different cans. I do like that look. So I clean these suckers off and they're ready to go. We need to put a layer of paint. I'm going to roll on with this DIY in the bead board for color. Absolutely use whatever paint works best for you, and you know that will adhere to metal well, because we're going to need a nice base to apply our decoupage paper onto. Isn't this design beautiful? I feel like it's going to match the dupe pretty close up. For anyone interested, this decoupage tissue paper is part of my personal creative brand called TDS. It can be found at thediystruggle.com, along with over 40 other designs for you to choose from and many other creative goodies to check out. But by all means, use whatever tissue paper, napkins you would like for this dupe. I cut this down to size and made sure to trim it just so it overlapped completely around the can, just like so. There are a lot of decoupage mediums to choose from. Mod Podge is still one of my go-tos. This little bottle is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna squirt it right on this can and take a paintbrush and spread it out. Now, I like to do my decoupage in sections, and I'm pretty confident in my tissue paper here. So I know that if I section off about a 3-inch wide piece and have a decent amount of Mod Podge in there, that if I take a little bit of cling wrap to smooth it out, it's going to attach really well and the wrinkles and bubbles are not going to be excessively horrible. As a matter of fact, it's going to smooth out around our can as we go and push any excess to the next section that I'm going to apply more Mod Podge and go along the way. Now, if you want to do your whole piece, you go right ahead. I find that I have better results doing small sections, minimal amounts of medium, and then just applying the paper. And as you can see here, I am being rather rough with it. I would never do this with a napkin. Just, you know, a heads up. Be gentle with your napkins, okay? For the top, since this is a can, instead of me just sanding it off, I decided to take a little bit of Mod Podge and just press it around the top. There are so many ways you can remix this idea. I wanted to just take some little succulents from Dollar Tree and glue them right in the center of our little, they're kind of like a stop sign, right? Aren't they shaped like a stop sign? Let me stop. And don't forget to add some extra glue on here. For time's sake, I just used some hot glue, but you want to make sure that you're adding some tacky glue or some E6000 or my favorite Gorilla Glue gel, just for a longer lasting hold. I feel like I really need some more can decoupage DIYs in my life. What do you guys think? If you need more Dollar Tree duping inspiration in your life, check out this video right here. And as always, people, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. And until next time.